Before we get started, quick little tidbit. The hater went to get his teeth cleaned today, deep cleaning Brazilian style. I had to go to 2 sessions, and you know what the dentist said? He said to my fiance, he said, "This is a tough guy. Most other people, every other man born from woman would need anesthesia, but this guy is a trooper." And the hater said, "Ain't no doubt about it," you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, let's get to today's video, cucks, instead of the hater, like glazing himself, as the kids would say. So welcome, cucks, and let's get to the video about the topic at hand. The topic at hand in this case is none other than a discussion on the disappearance of Brock Lesnar. There comes a point, right, where wrestlers enter the Brock Lesnar phase. This is the best way to look at it because he's the one that kind of invented this, right? Brock Lesnar is the first wrestler to just like show up and then leave and then just come back again and again and again, right? Since him, other wrestlers like Roman Reigns, other shittier wrestlers have followed the same format. But it really is the Brock Lesnar format. Let's not get it twisted. Now, with all that being said, right, there comes a point where the format is exhausted. And there comes a point where the format is abandoned as well. We are at both of those points with respect to Brock Lesnar. It's just weird. Talking is a little weird. I sound a little different, I feel like. Anyways, so Brock Lesnar comes out, right, and attacks John Cena. Now, okay, I think we all knew that this was not going to be followed through like the next day on Raw, right? We knew it would take maybe until SmackDown, right? Maybe until the week after. But at this point, we've already announced WrestlePalooza. Don't get me started on that shit again, right? But we've already announced that, and eventually Lesnar's going to show up, and they're going to probably announce him against Cena at WrestlePalooza. If they don't, then I don't give a shit about Brock Lesnar, right? If they do, then I barely give a shit about Brock Lesnar, right? It's really that simple. I mean, I don't think it really makes much of a difference when he comes back, but the issue is, where is he, right? Where is he in terms of kayfabe, and where is he in terms of real life? So let's tackle kayfabe first, right? So the first thing that needs to be asked is, from a kayfabe perspective, right? From a logical perspective of, I'm back, motherfucks. Why did he come back, right? He attacked Cena one time. All right, he doesn't like Cena. That's what we can gather from that, right? But then what? Then it's like he's going to be gone for another month? It's like, if you're going to attack Cena, why don't you attack him when you're ready to come back? You see what I'm saying? From kayfabe, it makes no sense, right? Because in kayfabe, there's no reason why SummerSlam is more important than, a random-ass episode of NXT, right? Things happen in like the universe of WWE, they happen randomly. So from a kayfabe perspective, this makes no sense. It's like he came back coincidentally at the big event, beat up Cena, and then like left, and it's been like at least a month, or it feels like a month, right? Almost a month, you know what I'm saying? So without being, or maybe it's been a couple of weeks, but it sure shit feels like a long time, So, from a kayfabe perspective, this makes no sense at all. Now let's think about it from a logical business perspective. Well, WWE does like to hang its hat and kind of hinge everything on big pay-per-views, right? So it's like SummerSlam is a thing, and they're going to make it a thing, and it's going to be treated as a thing. So therefore, they're going to blow their load on something that has to do with SummerSlam, right? SummerSlam is going to come up, and they're going to need something to throw in there. You know what I mean? And that was it. Brock Lesnar was that thing. But this just goes to prove what I've been saying for like at least a year now, which is that WWE has very few bullets left in the chamber, and basically they're exhausting those bullets one at a time, right? The only way they replenish their bullets, the only way they reload their gun is when the fans forget about people like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and then they can bring them back again, right? And then Michael Cole can say, Brock Lesnar's back. That's pretty much what's happening this entire time. It's just a series of the same exact thing. So where the hell is he? You know what I mean? He came in, he attacked Cena, right? They're just waiting for us to forget, so that when he comes back again, it feels like a big deal. And I get that, Look at what happened to fucking Nikki Bella, right? She came back, and then she kept coming back, and now she's just there, right? Like nobody gives a shit, It's not like she's not a special attraction anymore. She's not anything special at all. She's just Nikki Bella. She's there just like everybody else is there, But there's something good about that, That means that when I tune into TV, into Raw or SmackDown, I can expect Nikki Bella. Now, obviously with Nikki Bella, it's basically a net zero. Like nobody gives a shite. Nobody gives a flying fuck that Nikki Bella's going to be there. But for Brock Lesnar, people would care, right? Imagine if Brock Lesnar had a match tonight on SmackDown, right? Like, that would be amazing. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh shit, what's going on? Lesnar, a match on SmackDown? And I get it. Lesnar is a special attraction, you know? You want to squeeze every penny out of him, you know? Their contracts are like, just like the Cena contract, right? It's like they sign a contract for, let's say, 3 years or 2 years, whatever the case may be. And the contract is like, all right, you're going to make like, I don't know, 10 appearances a year, right? And one of them is going to be, you're going to come attack Cena. Another one's going to be, you have a match. Now, I get that, but how about make one of those matches on Raw? Just to get Raw going again, right? To give it some life support. Because that is one way that people are going to go and watch Raw. Is if you tune into Raw, you might see Brock Lesnar. Holy shit. But nowadays, it's like, what's the point? Like, for example, tonight is SmackDown. I'm going to watch it either tonight or tomorrow, and I'm going to review it. But I can already tell you what's going to happen. You know? The MFTs are going to come out. Jacob Fatu's going to come out. Someone's going to beat someone. And that's it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Nothing special is going to happen. Cena's going to come out. He's going to cut a promo. It'll go something like this. Yeah, I'm back, Jack. It's going to be me and Logan Paul at Clash in Paris, you know? Like, I'll stick the Eiffel Tower up your ass to nation. You know, that's what's going to happen, basically, you know? So, like, there's nothing to look forward to, right? And this is a very easily solved proposition. You know, as I said, with Nikki Bella. Like, if you are a Nikki Bella fan, like, you sure as shit are going to watch Raw, because Nikki Bella, there's a very high probability that Nikki Bella's going to show up. Like, she has the same probability of showing up as, like, Sami Zayn, you know? So, pretty likely. But with that being said, we find ourselves not in the same situation with the real big stars, which is exactly what people want to see. And this is going to go back to bite everybody in the ass. Because fundamentally, I personally believe that Triple H, like Brock Lesnar, I don't think he gives a shit, you know what I mean? He's in it for the money. I don't think he cares about the success or failure of WWE. I don't think he gives a shit at all. Like, once he's done milking it, he's going to be like, great, I don't give a fuck. And I don't fault him for that. I get it completely. But if you're Triple H and this is like on you now, you have to understand what wrestling is, right? And I don't know, I think a lot of people kind of lose touch with this. Like, maybe some of us remember the pay-per-view days, and maybe some of us remember the pay-per-view days as children, right? Where, like, you don't have the opportunity to watch every pay-per-view because you have to convince your parents that watching two grown men fake fight is worth $30 or $40 or whatever the hell the price was, depending on the time, right? So you don't get to watch every pay-per-view. Like, the hater didn't get to watch every pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Like, I could convince my mom to, you know, get like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. I mean, later on, my negotiating tactics became a little bit better, but like, you know, when I was young and I started watching wrestling, like, to get the first pay-per-view, I had to make like a deal with my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'll do this, I'll do that. If you give me, because she couldn't understand, and I don't blame her at all, why anyone would want to pay like $30 to see like fucking, you know, to see like the Royal Rumble, you know, to see like fake fighting. She didn't understand. She's like, why would we watch this? You know? And one of her counterpoints was, why would we watch this? You'll see what happened tomorrow night. Because she knows that Raw's on Mondays, right? Now, while that was true, another thing was also true. If you didn't have the opportunity to get the pay-per-views, you could tune in, motherfucks. You could tune in and you could watch Raw and SmackDown and you would see largely what you would see in the pay-per-view. Now, the match wouldn't be as long. It wouldn't mean as much. It wouldn't be as good. There wouldn't be as many matches. There's a lot of differences, but you would see the same stars, right? So, for example, you missed the pay-per-view. You missed Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. The Undertaker player, you know what I mean? Like, you could see The Undertaker versus Nunzio tomorrow, right? You could see Brock Lesnar versus Shannon Moore or whatever the fuck they're gonna do, you know? You would see these people wrestle. But nowadays, you don't see that anymore. So the question of where's Brock Lesnar is more so like, why isn't he on TV? Because I know where he is. You know, obviously, he's doing whatever the fuck he wants, not showing up to work. But why is he allowed to do this? Put him on TV so that just on the off chance, motherfuckers, I know people don't change channels the same way anymore, but someone might randomly be perusing channels and they're like, oh shit, let's check out what's happening on SmackDown. Oh my God, it's Brock Lesnar. Boom, just like that, you have one more viewer. And if you're good, if your product is good, now you can have a viewer for life. But imagine if this person is turning the channel, they haven't watched wrestling in 10 years, let's say, and they stumble upon it, and like JC Mateo shows up. You know what I mean? They stumble upon Raw, and like Sami Zayn is the face they see. They're gonna be like, oh, I guess everyone was right. This company's shit now. They're gonna turn the channel to something else, right? Word of mouth. People are spending all their lives now on Discord and on forums, right? If someone says while watching Raw, holy shit, guys, Brock Lesnar just came back on Raw, you know what I mean? Then a lot of people in that Discord might be like, oh, let's check out what's happening on Raw, right? Or on SmackDown. See what I'm saying? This is the reason why stars are important. Stars are not just important to sell pay-per-views. Stars are important to build the brand and to build the revenue that leads to the pay-per-view, especially when you're in a situation like they are now with WrestlePalooza. So, you know, in summation, motherfucks, just bring out Brock Lesnar and stop asking ourselves, and stop making us, I should say, ask ourselves, where the hell is he? Where in the blue hell is Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar. And it's fucking... Let me tell you guys about my dedication, motherfucks. It's hard to talk, all right? This fucking dentist, he was a good dentist, but he butchered my mouth, you know? I want to sit down and have a nice cold drink. But guess what I'm doing? Putting in the work, the hardest working man on the internet. The world champion of the internet. The hater up in this bitch. The hater up in Sao Paulo, you know what I mean? So, you know, I look forward to my wedding, and I look forward to coming back to the States, where I will, obviously, as you all know, reboot this channel permanently. And it's gonna be something for the ages, motherfuckers. So get to it, don't screw it, and you know what? If you haven't, subscribe right now, cucks.